I don't think we realize how crazy the Western Conference was in 2024. 11 teams in the West won 40 or more games. The 7th seeded Lakers won 47 games, which was the same record as the 5th seeded Magic in the Eastern Conference. And the craziest part of all is that the Warriors missed the playoffs entirely despite having a better record than they did in 2023. A season where they got the 6th seed and didn't have to play in the play-in at all. In terms of the top 3 seeds, nothing was finalized until the final days of the regular season, where the Thunder and Timberwolves, who were 9th and 8th seeds in 2023, jumped to 1st and 3rd respectively in 2024. At number 2 was the 2023 champs in the Denver Nuggets, a team that has pulled off a nearly perfect rebuild, but are currently being screwed over by the rules the league actually intended to help small market teams. Because of this, the Nuggets are going to be potentially weakened in the 2025 season, and we've already seen the rippling effects of the new CBA on the league as a whole. In this video, we're going to look at how the Nuggets had a nearly perfect rebuild and how the new CBA is affecting the contention status of the Denver Nuggets and other teams around the league. Before we begin, be sure to leave a like on the video, as each like makes a massive difference for the channel, and be sure to sub to the channel for even more content like this. Building a contender in a small market is definitely challenging in the NBA. You're not going to be the #1 choice for free agents. You might have to overpay to bring interested free agents in, and even the stars you do have on the roster might not have the patience to stick around and could opt to be dealt to larger markets. However, while not having the advantages of those larger markets, smaller markets have been able to leave their mark in NBA history through 4 primary ways. 1. Drafting a transcendent player or young star who defies all expectations. Number 2. Selecting low-risk, high-reward players in the draft, or just outright hitting on late-round picks. 3. Taking chances on guys who might have gone the short end of the stick elsewhere. And 4. Building consistency with the coach over time. Whether it be the Spurs of the past or the 2021 Bucks squad, these are essentially the prereqs for building a great team. And only a few organizations get this right, because luck factors a great deal into this as well. For the Denver Nuggets, believe it or not, their rebuild was actually spearheaded by trading Doug McDermott during the 2014 NBA draft for 2 useful contributors in Gary Harris and Jusuf Nurkic, both of whom will be important later. In that same draft, the Nuggets would select the greatest second-round pick ever, a player who was drafted during a Taco Bell commercial and was overlooked because his stats in Europe didn't jump off the page and he lacked desirable athleticism. The craziest thing about Jokic is that he was actually ready to drop out of the 2014 NBA draft altogether until the Nuggets promised to draft him if he was available at pick 41. But the Nuggets saw his passing, building, and natural feel for the game as reasoning points to take a chance on him, with the GM at the time citing Marc Gasol as a player who teams also overlooked for similar reasons. Jokic would stay 1 more year in Europe before coming to the league, both him showing glimpses in 2016 and taking over after the Nuggets dealt Jusuf Nurkic to give him more opportunity. Jokic blew away all expectations and later ascended to an all-time great player. However, this wouldn't be possible without building an appropriate supporting cast all around him. The Nuggets would select Jamal Murray with the 7th pick out of Kentucky in 2016, a good athlete with range who could attack the rim and be a creative finisher, and most importantly, operated well as an off-ball scorer. Fast forward to 2018, the Nuggets would add another core member to their squad, where they would again buy low on a high reward player. Out of high school, Michael Porter Jr. was projected to be the #1 overall pick in the draft in an absolutely stacked class that had DeAndre Ayton, Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jaren Jackson, etc., but quickly had his stock plummet due to needing yet another back surgery before even playing a minute of NBA basketball. However, Nuggets saw his utility as a complete off-ball scorer with Jokic and were extremely patient with him in his rehab process. Finally, the 2 moves the Nuggets would make to build their title core were the acquisitions of Aaron Gordon and Caldwell-Pope from lottery teams in the Orlando Magic and the Washington Wizards. Up to that point, the jury was practically set out for a former lottery pick in Aaron Gordon, as many felt him to be underwhelming as one of the top offensive options on the Orlando Magic. But knowing the defensive versatility and the perfect role he could fit as a role man with Jokic, as well as someone who can operate well without the ball and actually play make in given situations, the Nuggets were completely sold and packaged Gary Harris in a deal to get him. Finally, the Nuggets traded 2 vets in Will Barton and Monte Morris to the Wizards to acquire a 3-and-D piece in KCP in 2022, and the rest is history. The Nuggets won their first title in franchise history through what was nearly a perfect rebuild. Not building the foundation of their team on superstar free agents, but using the draft and smart deals to be a serious contender for years to come. Not if the NBA can help it. Essentially, the second tax apron of the new CBA of the NBA, part of which was created to forge a competitive balance and help small market teams, played a big role as why the Nuggets had to lose KCP this offseason and are consequently weakened in an ever-evolving Western Conference. In the name of establishing a competitive balance across the league, the NBA has already instituted penalties for teams who choose to go significantly over the salary cap. Teams obviously are subject to fines when they head into the luxury tax, and the luxury tax figure is something that changes on an annual basis based off the league's revenue. But right beyond the luxury tax is the first tax apron. When a team's payroll exceeds the $178.1 million mark, teams can't acquire a player in a sign and trade. If that player keeps then above the apron, teams can't sign a player who was waived during the season whose salary was over the $12.2 million mid-level exception, and trades are harder to pull off since salary must be matching in trades within 110%, rather than the 125% for teams not above the apron. Mind you, those are just penalties of the first tax apron. If a team were to cross a second tax apron, which is at $188.9 million for next season, they won't have access to the $5 million taxpayer mid-level exception. They can't include cash in trades. Their first round picks 7 years out are unable to be traded, and the team's first round pick will be moved to the end of the first round if they remain in the second tax apron for 3 out of 5 seasons. The Nuggets have actually been a tax team for the past 2 seasons, would be severely hampered by this second tax apron if KCP stayed, and ultimately had to lose him for nothing. Sure, the Nuggets will still be competitive for years to come if they can keep their core 4 members of Jokic, Murray, MPJ, and Aaron Gordon together, but this is a small market team who built their team the right way, but is being held back by the new CBA. Moreover, even large market teams are being hindered by the second tax apron. The Clippers had to lose Paul George due to the second tax apron, and even the Warriors, who are paying a legendary amount of luxury tax for the past 2 years, had to let Clay go in part due to the second tax apron. The actual curious case of the NBA is the Boston Celtics, who even with the second tax apron were able to bring everyone back and sign Derek White, Drew Holiday, and Jason Tatum to massive extensions. Heck, even Sam Hauser got a multi-year deal. However, with the unprecedented amount of luxury tax the Celtics will be hit with as a result, the owners of the team are outright trying to sell the franchise as we speak. Well, those are just my thoughts on the matter, so let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Is the second tax apron counterintuitive, given that it negatively can affect small market teams, or is it fair since it still keeps a competitive balance in the league? Also, do you think the new CBA should make provisions for teams like the Nuggets, who drafted much of their contending core? Let me know in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on the video, as each like makes a massive difference for the channel. Be sure to sub to the channel for even more content like this. Hope to see you all in the next one, and stay tuned.